The first sighting of the xenomorphs was met with a mix of terror and awe. It happened in the year 2134, when the deep space mining vessel Orion's Wake picked up strange signals from a previously uncharted moon. What the crew encountered would change the course of human history forever. The creatures, sleek and black, moved with a lethal grace. Their eyeless faces, elongated skulls, and the grotesque second set of jaws hidden within their mouths made them the embodiment of nightmare fuel. The encounter was a disaster. Only one crew member made it back to tell the tale, and even they succumbed to an infection brought on by the parasitic larvae the creatures implanted in their bodies. The recording from Orion's Wake spread through the higher ranks of the United Earth government like wildfire. Soon, the discovery of the xenomorphs became the most classified piece of information known to humankind. However, secrecy never lasts. Within a decade, rumors of the creatures reached the wider populace. Conspiracies, speculative documentaries, and underground researchers spoke in hushed tones about the ultimate predator that lurked somewhere in the vastness of space. Meanwhile, the government was already taking steps to weaponize them. The early attempts to control the xenomorphs failed spectacularly. Laboratory facilities dedicated to their study suffered catastrophic breaches. The creatures were too intelligent, too resilient, and too perfect in their evolutionary design. Each experiment that sought to domesticate them ended in carnage, forcing scientists to reassess their approach. Instead of control, perhaps observation was the key. They began studying the xenomorphs in their natural habitat, trying to understand how they fit into the grand cosmic ecosystem. As more colonies encountered the xenomorphs, fear seeped into the fabric of human society. Religious cults arose, seeing the creatures as divine beings. Some worshipped them as harbingers of purification, beings meant to cull the weak. Others feared them as a punishment for human expansion beyond Earth's rightful dominion. Entire planets went dark as hidden xenomorph hives overran human settlements. Military forces were sent in, but more often than not, their weapons proved ineffective. Xenomorphs adapted. They learned. They evolved. Economies shifted. New industries were built around anti-xenomorph defense, with corporations selling high-powered weaponry designed specifically to combat the creatures. The black market thrived, offering illegal xenomorph samples, including the infamous eggs that housed facehuggers. Some believed they could control them, make them fight in underground arenas for sport, or use them as assassins. None of these ventures lasted long. A xenomorph never stayed caged. Meanwhile, the psychological impact of these creatures was immeasurable. The mere thought of them lurking in the dark corners of space changed human culture. Horror entertainment fixated on xenomorph-inspired creatures, depicting them in every medium imaginable. Architecture shifted to more secure designs, with buildings favoring reinforced walls and airtight seals. The fear of infestation was enough to reshape entire urban planning models. Then came the philosophical debates. Were xenomorphs a higher life form? Did their efficiency in survival make them superior to humanity? A growing number of thinkers argued that humans should learn from them rather than fear them. Their hive structure, their absolute dedication to survival, and their complete lack of individualism suggested a form of order that human society lacked. Governments took these discussions seriously. Military protocols were rewritten to reflect xenomorph tactics. Swarm intelligence became a subject of major study, leading to advancements in artificial intelligence and robotics. But the greatest impact of the xenomorphs on human society came from an unexpected direction: genetic engineering. Scientists, in their unrelenting curiosity, began incorporating xenomorph DNA into human biology. At first, it was subtle. Strength enhancements, improved durability, faster healing. But as the experiments progressed, the line between human and xenomorph began to blur. The first successful hybrid was born in a classified lab on Mars. It looked human, but its blackened veins and unervingly sharp teeth betrayed its altered nature. Public outcry followed when the existence of these hybrids was leaked. Some saw them as abominations, a perversion of humanity's natural course. Others viewed them as the future, the next step in evolution. The hybrids themselves were divided. Some integrated into society, their modifications subtle enough to pass as mere enhancements. Others, however, felt the call of something deeper, something primal. A small faction vanished into the unexplored sectors of space, seeking the original xenomorph hives to reconnect with the source of their genetic alterations. War seemed inevitable. As tensions rose between the purest humans and the hybrid faction, governments scrambled to maintain control. Terrorist groups formed, believing humanity had doomed itself by meddling with forces it couldn't fully comprehend. Xenomorph-related conflicts erupted across the galaxy, each battle leaving more destruction in its wake. Planets burned. Colonies were lost. The hybrids, despite their superior strength, found themselves hunted by both sides. Then the unthinkable happened. Xenomorph queens, intelligent beyond human comprehension, began communicating through the hybrids. At first, it was through nightmares and visions, cryptic messages that drove many insane. But eventually, coherent thoughts formed. The xenomorphs weren't mindless killers. They were an ancient force, a species that had existed long before humanity took its first steps. They didn't seek conquest. They sought balance. With this revelation, a fragile peace was forged. The United Earth government opened secret negotiations with xenomorph representatives through their hybrid intermediaries. A deal was struck. Humans would cease their reckless expansion into xenomorph territory, and in return, the creatures would not actively hunt human colonies. It was an uneasy truce, but it was the only path forward. Humanity had been changed forever. The xenomorphs had shaped its society in ways no one could have foreseen. Fear had given way to understanding, and in some cases, admiration. The influence of the xenomorphs lingered in every aspect of human life, from military strategy to art, from bioengineering to philosophy. They were no longer just monsters lurking in the dark. They were a force woven into the very fabric of human civilization, an eternal shadow reminding humanity of its place in the universe. As generations passed, the xenomorph presence became part of human history. Some colonies integrated their symbols into their culture, designing art and architecture inspired by their sleek forms. Bioengineers continued refining hybrid technology, creating soldiers and workers that blurred the lines between species. But the greatest shift came in the minds of people. No longer was the xenomorph an object of fear, but rather a symbol of evolution and adaptation. A new age of exploration dawned. With xenomorph DNA woven into certain bloodlines, new frontiers opened for deep space travel. Hybrids could survive in conditions that pure humans could not, allowing for further expansion beyond even the most extreme planets. The uneasy peace between species held, though the whispers of further conflicts never completely died down. One question remained: was humanity still in control of its own fate, or had it unknowingly become a part of the xenomorph hive?